Hey, free spirit. How are you this evening? So, tonight we're going to talk about the mystic cross.
May the sense of the water, the earth, the energy of the
Do you
energy of
happen
the
to
ocean,
have
the light
the
of the
mystic cross on your hand?
night,
And do you have it on both
and
hands?
so it is.
Hey, free spirit. So, tonight we're going to talk about the mystic cross on our hand, what it means, and what you should do if you have one of these marks on either one hand or on two. Is that you? Below. I want to hear what you have to say. So, mystic cross comes typically in our 40s. But people can have an experience, a life-changing experience in their lives, and they can have them in their younger years. Some people have them as in their teens. Some people have them in their 20s, late 30s, 40s. Really, it's late 30s and 40s that something big and major happens. But one of the things I wanted to point out is if you have this mystic cross, it's one cross right here between the head and the heart line. Okay? Now, a lot of people will say, oh, I've got several. There's one mystic cross. Okay. The other lines that are in between the head and the heart line that look like they may be more crosses is really chaotic energy. And when we come to this place called Earth, this dense place called Earth, we are here to experience this world, and we're also here to learn how to manipulate energy. Really. Because energy is emotions. And when we can learn to understand our emotions, to manipulate it to work for our highest good, then we're going to be opening ourselves up to learning more. And these series of revelations are going to allow us to expand and nurture ourselves and grow in the area that we need to grow in. So, if this sounds familiar to you, or if you've had a life changing experience, you may have the mystic cross. Now, I believe that if you have a mystic cross on both hands, and what brought you to this place to have the two crosses? Well, I can tell you that probably you've had more than one traumatic experience. And that's also a sign that you have been given these moments in your life to help you understand and help you grow. And once you begin to understand these gifts and how you can grow, then you're going to be able to utilize your gifts for wonderful purposes. You know, I remember when I very first had my out of body experience when I lost my when I went to the ER. I had gone into the ER several times, and they kept sending me home with anxiety medicine. And I said, don't be sending me home again, because I had gone 3 times. And then I had gone to my cardiologist, and they kept putting a heart monitor on me, and that was a piece of crap, didn't even work. Did all these tests, EKG, everything, couldn't find anything wrong, but I just kept blacking out, kept blacking out, kept blacking out. I was like, what the hell? I can't handle this. This is stressing me out. So the doctor just looks at me and she says, I think I'm going to send you home with anxiety medicine. Like, it's anxiety. And I went, you're not sending me home with anxiety medicine. This is not going to happen. And she said, she was kind of looked at me. She goes, let's just go ahead and do one more. I'll never forget the look on her face. It was like she just kind of studied me, and she was just like, so I go in there and have this test, and I didn't even make it 5 fucking minutes, y'all. And she comes in and she says, we're gonna put you in the what? You're just gonna send me home with anxiety medicine. And I went into the hospital that night and I got my pacemaker. But I also had an out of body experience. If you want to hear more about that, I'll put the link below for my near death experience and you can listen to it. But that was my awakening. That was the moment that I realized that everything in this world was different than anything I had ever imagined. And so everything that I knew changed. And it sent me on this journey of wanting to learn as much as I could. And I started studying auras, and I studied the chakra systems, our energy systems in our body, because I was just like, this is the most amazing, profound experience of my life. I had never had anything like that. And I was just hungry for information. And usually when you go through something traumatic and life-changing like that, you become very awake. And you start to realize that things in the world are a little different. And it's through these series of revelations and changes that happen in our lives that grows us spiritually and helps us understand our purpose here. You know, when we come here, the earth is very dense. It's a very dense plane. And every soul that comes into this existence here on earth forgets the power that we hold. And we're assigned our parents that are going to teach us the lessons that we need to learn from our previous lifetimes. And every situation, the way that we're loved, the way that we're nurtured, the way that we trust the world, all has to do with what your soul's purpose is to learn here on this plane on earth. And this hair is driving me crazy. And when we start to understand that we have the ability to learn that there is more to who we are as a being, a human being here, and when we can start to realize that we have special powers. And what I mean by that is, let's just talk about our senses. You know, our 5 senses that we have: see, speaking, hearing, feeling, touching. All of these senses are here for a reason, for us to experience this world that we're in, because we are a spiritual being having this human experience. I'm sure you've heard that before. But when you really think about it and you really learn the value of that, it becomes so much more clear. And so I bring this up because there was a lot of people on TikTok that responded to the Mystic Cross post that I had, and it made me realize that there's so many of you out there that have gone through these life experiences, and either we go through them and go through them and go through them and we don't learn. That's where that chaotic energy comes. Or we begin to start to learn, and when we begin to start to learn, we're able to understand things better. You know, one time there was a lady that she couldn't figure out why she was born into this world with the parents that she had. And she would ask, you know, why did I come into this world? I mean, my dad didn't love me. My mom was abusive to me. And I'm just trying to figure out why I came in this way. And, you know, she meditated on it one day, and then she began to realize that the lessons that she had started to learn were the things that started to mold her And the things that she realized that were her frustrations were the things that were really a gift to her. And you wouldn't think that somebody that would go through life experiences that were extremely daunting and hard were actually the lessons that she was here to learn. I realized that over the years, whenever I felt like, why did I come into this world, into this situation? But it wasn't until I had my heart failure and I learned that there's a reason for everything in this world. And we are brought here to have a purpose. And more than likely, if you are watching my channel, you are a light worker, or you are an empath, or you are someone who is very highly in tune with your intuition. And if you found this by chance, incident, you were brought here to hear this, to understand that you have a gift. And maybe it's time that you learn how to cultivate that gift and how to utilize it so that you can bring better things into your life. You can touch the lives of others. I know that's my purpose, to share stories, to mentor people, and to share the experience of learning our innate. Intuition is a beautiful thing. And when you understand the value of it, and you realize that it is this internal compass system inside of us that innately knows what to do, but it's our ego mind that gets in the way. You know, when we start to trust that inner voice, and I call that our, when we begin to trust that inner voice that speaks to us or shows us the things that we need to see, and if we're not able to see those things, then we can have frustration in our lives, causing some of this chaotic. Many people that have the mystic cross, they say, has an interest in the metaphysics, and they'll say the occult, whatever. I believe it's really when you start to understand your intuitive path. And when you're ready to understand that and embrace the power of it, it's a beautiful thing. And we get caught up in the world of what we think is supposed to be because of the way that we're molded, and we're schooled in the public schools, and maybe you didn't go to a public school, but every situation and every life experience that you came into this world was created for a reason. It was created for you to grow as this spiritual being. I know that sounds harsh sometimes, because more than likely, if you're somebody that has it on both hands, you've been through a hell of a lot. And that's the reason why. Because if you had not experienced all these things, how can you teach? And how can you help other people? You hadn't been through these things yourself. See, this is where people get caught up in their story. And they become their story, and they think, oh, these things happen to me, and or I don't want to talk about these things that happen to me. I don't want people to judge me. I don't want people to think that I'm crazy. You're the one that thinks you're crazy because you don't believe in yourself. And I say that in a very bold way because we are really programmed to believe certain things. And when we start to trust this gift and trust these gifts of senses that we have, you'll start to see that things will open up and change. But you've got to believe in it. You've got to get out of that ego mind, and it takes over. And we have a tendency to want to engage in negative energies or conflict or gossip or to control things. And sometimes we have to step back, the negativity to come out of us. Sharing your gift with the world is what I'm calling you to do. And if you're watching this tonight, I want to challenge you. I want you to pick a sense that you feel that you have. So comment below and tell me what yours would be. Are you clairvoyant? Can you see in your mind's eye? I mean, let's do a little test. Close your eyes. Now, close your eyes. Now, I want you to imagine a waterfall. And on this waterfall, there's all this beautiful water falling down. Do you hear it? Can you feel the mist falling, brushing your skin? Can you see the water trickling down over the cascading rocks? Comment below. Tell me what you could feel. Now, tomorrow I want you to go out and I want you to experience the world through your senses. Okay? And when you do, I want you to have an aha moment. What's that aha moment for you? It was this revelation. Just like the girl who couldn't figure out why she was born into this world. Realized that she was here to help people open their heart. I hope you enjoyed tonight's session, just a brief little chat. And I encourage you to, like I said, comment below and tell me what your gift is. Tell me what you feel is your strongest sense. Is it a sense of hearing? Can you hear things in your ear without it really being out loud? Is it your voice that you hear? Or is it another voice? Is it walking into a room and you can feel that something's not right? Or maybe you hear somebody talking to you and you can look at them and you can tell that they're lying. That you just know. You know what's going on. Or maybe it's your sense of touch. The sense of touch that's comforting and soft. Or do you have a touch that's strong and secure? Your eyes, your indigo eye. Do you see with that mind's eye? Are you able to see a movie in your mind's eye? Projecting. Or maybe seeing something that's happened in the past. Or maybe you're able to taste something and you're not even eating. Or you walk outside and you smell smoke, like someone's smoking and no one. This is spirit communicating with us. And we all have this ability. And what we do with this ability and how we bring it forth into the world is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. So I encourage you, if you don't know what your purpose is, I challenge you tomorrow to tap into those senses, to understand that what senses you have here are here for a specific reason. And if you've been through something life-changing or earth-shattering in your life, know that has prepared you for greater things. You didn't go through that for the hell of it. You went through that to learn, to grow, to mentor other people. Maybe you had an addiction. Maybe you were in an abusive relationship. Maybe you had big tragedy with your health. Or maybe you overcame something so tragic that most people couldn't carry on. These are all the gifts that are given to us. And at the time, it doesn't seem like a good gift. It seems like a fucking piece of shit gift. If you're going to have a gift that doesn't seem like it's very receptive to your life, you're like, dang, why am I getting handed that? But eventually, things will open up and you'll begin to understand things better. And you'll start to realize that these things that you've gone through were here to serve a specific purpose, to help you grow. Tomorrow, wake up. The first thing I want you to do is be grateful. I want you to think of something that you're grateful for, even if it's as simple as maybe it's, I'm glad my air conditioner is working because it's hotter than hell outside. It's the little things that we can be grateful for that can have a big impact on our lives. And then after you give your gratitude, I want you to be very aware of all of your senses. Be aware of the energy that you feel when you're around other people, the way they make you feel, what they're saying, what they're presenting to you, how that makes you feel. Do you feel it heavy in your heart? Do you feel it in your stomach? And I want you to take notes of this tomorrow. And when you do, if you would come back and tell me your experience, I would love to hear it. Because I think the first thing to understanding your gift and to understanding your purpose in life is to understand the power of these gifts. What? Come here. Come here. What are you doing? Understanding the power of these gifts. When you can truly tap into your senses and you don't get clouded by the ego, you can start to really cultivate those gifts. Really cultivate those gifts. Think about it. Think about what these gifts mean to you. And think about why you might be given these gifts. It's a big, isn't it? All right, I'm going to leave you at that. Thank you for joining me tonight. I just wanted to have a little chat and share this experience with you. Thank you for joining my channel. And if you would, please subscribe. I love it. I'm having such a good time here, and I'm ready to share
May
a
the
lot
sense
more.
of the water, the air,
So,
water, the air,
as
the
I
energy
always
of the
say,
energy of the
peace,
ocean,
love.
the light of the sky, night, night, fire within you, and so it is.